As mentioned before, I am part of a handful of Facebook professional wrestling groups, and like in there are fans who have these bizarre, wild takes that I do feel like I kind of just want to chime in on and stuff like that. And like if at some point, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get like a lot of hate watching because oh my god, we don't agree with you, so you're wrong and we're right and you're terrible, blah 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 blah. So it's like that's gonna happen. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of how emotional like the stereotypical fan of fictional media can be. So I'm not really stressing them. They're just bizarre and annoying to me. But the very first episode of this, I rather be wrestling because I really would be. Man, I want to wrestle so bad. Is intergender wrestling. Now, granted, there's women in wrestling now. You know what I'm saying? There's always been women in wrestling, and there was a time where women were just not taken seriously while wrestling. So you kind of, like one of my least favorite times to actually watch women wrestling was during times where people would call the match a bathroom break match because it's like, yeah, you totally. It's like leave it to guys to basically, like even without trying, talking about their areas to women. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I gotta go drain my special area, while your match is going on. Like imagine doing that. Imagine, imagine a woman's wrestling match happening and you just being that guy like going bathroom break. It's like you're an a-hole. But that was a thing that guys was doing back then. It was just ridiculously annoying to me because like fans. If there's one thing I don't like about fans is when they try to make stuff in things about themselves. You know what I mean? Because it's like nobody cares that you had to go to the bathroom during a women's wrestling match. Just go do it. Like why announce? But they did. But obviously as time went by, professional wrestling has definitely took a turn. Women's wrestling started to become put more to the forefront, and in time we've ultimately had like multitudes of just great things to happen with women's wrestling. Wow, my glasses keep falling off. Great things in women's wrestling that I just can't stress enough was well deserved and was wildly needed. And but obviously there's still another. In my opinion, there's still another mountain to climb, and that is intergender wrestling. Because the thing about most wrestling fans is while they have grown slightly into appreciating and respecting women as far as who they are as wrestlers, there's still this hill that like they just can't seem to go over, where they think that women are weaker than men, so women can't beat men in a wrestling match. By the way, professional wrestling. To put this in perspective, in professional wrestling, we have had we've had a zombie who was apparently this scary. We had a scary dude working in a funeral home who would take people's souls away. You know what I'm saying? Who was undefeated at WrestleMania, by the way. We've had and his brother, who is a pyromaniac demon from hell. We've had wrestling clowns. We've had aliens. We've had a minotaur. We had somebody who apparently at one time shocked the whole world. We've literally had all of these things happen. And with that zombie who could take souls away, who has been undefeated at WrestleMania, he's lost matches before. And people believed it. Like, this was a believable concept, right? But for some strange reason, this guy losing matches, even though apparently he's this undead man of stone who can just like destroy everything just by raising his hands up. This guy can lose matches, and that's more believable than a woman defeating a man in a wrestling match, according to your basic annoying low tier fan. And yes, I will say the words low tier fan, and I know for some that's triggering, but I am working on a WordPress dedicated to that concept that I'm going to get into like a little bit later on in life. But it's very, like, when I say low tier fans, I'm not saying that I myself am a high tier fan. I'm not even saying that, like, that I myself am even a mid-tier fan. I'm just simply saying that if there was a tier to fandoms, there are fans who like things and low-tier fans who fake like they like wrestling, but just say every single terrible thing to bash everything. They have every single excuse as to why they bash everything, and their excuses don't make any sense. That's just one definition of what I would declare a low tier fan to be. And these guys, I'm telling you, man, it's wild. Their takes are so bizarre when it comes to like women wrestling in general, because according to them, it's like a man. Like this one guy, he's like telling me a man will lose credibility if he loses to a woman in a wrestling match, which I just think is ridiculous. Because I asked this guy, "Do you think that you can defeat Nia Jax in a wrestling match?" I'm still waiting for his response. I'm just. Hopefully, at some point, he's going to say, the answer. But I mean, like, you're a man, right? Like, I'm going to say this right now. I like to think that I'm very secure in my masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go to some, and I mean, like, how I know that I know I'm a man, right? Because I can go up to the most alpha male, wannabe, bro, strongest, toughest guy on the planet. If I go up to that guy and I say I'm a woman, he's going to be like, "No, you're not." I'm not, by the way. I'm not a woman, but it's just like it's like these things. It's like there's so much weird. The talk about masculinity in general is just weird to me. So, but I like to think that I'm secure enough in my masculinity to admit that I will possibly lose a wrestling match, if not a fist fight, against the likes of Nia Jax, Nyla Rose, Tamina Snuka, Bianca Belair. I would probably I don't underestimate anyone, by the way. I'm not gonna go out like I will say Alexa Bliss too, because people are gonna be like, Alexa Bliss is so tiny, she's so small, she can't hurt nobody. And it's like, bro, it's always the ones you don't expect. Winning and losing a fight is not based on like stuff like it's not based on stuff like obvious things like height and strength and stuff like that. If like you could get choked out by a kid, I mean, kids aren't. I mean, your neck is really not that. You can get choked out by a kid because your neck is really not that powerful. Like this right here, there's only a little piece of skin protecting this from the outside world. But I'm getting off topic here. But what I am saying though is that like I know for a fact that if I can lose to these women wrestlers, you know what I mean, and like, are you gonna call me a wimp for that? Can you beat them? I mean, like, but my whole thing is that, like, I say this because I would personally love to wrestle a woman. I would personally love, like, I have a few women who I would actually love to have a wrestling match against, such as Nyla Rose. I would love to wrestle against Trish Adora. I would love to have a wrestling match against, I feel like Colin King would carry the heck out of me in my match, or at least not kill me. I feel like I would have a good match against Queen Aminata. I feel like I would have a great match against AQA. I feel like me and AQA would probably would just we'd just be flipping all over the place. But like, I would love to have wrestling matches against women because one, I'd put them over, right? Imagine this as a gimmick. Insaniac don't beat women. Because I'm always losing against women. But like another thing too is that like I would do that to tick off all these alpha male tough guy wannabes who's just be like, "Oh my god, bro, I can't believe you lost to a woman, bro. You're so weak, bro." You know what I mean? I would do that because at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, "Well then, I mean, feel free to go up in there and show me how to do it. Show me what to do. The ring is right there, buddy." But yeah, like, I don't know. Like I said, intergender wrestling, in my opinion, I don't think it's demeaning to anyone because, like, if a woman defeats him, like, first off, like, where did this even come from that if a woman beats a man, the man is weak? Why can't it just be if a woman beats a man, the woman is just strong? Like, is it like this is just like it's weird how easy it is to take away a man's masculinity in comparison. It's like if it's so easy to take away a man's masculinity, then wouldn't that make men the weaker gender? You know, it's like, because it's really easy to take away a man's masculinity. If a man as much as say, if a man is, paint their nails, you're not a man anymore. You take an interest in gardening, you're not a man anymore. Like you shower in some cases, you're not a man anymore. Believe it or not, that actually used to be a thing. So it's just weird to me, like how easy it is to take. It's like, if the rules, is like, if the rules are that like nuanced, then yeah, that would make men the weaker gender. So a woman defeating a man, because it doesn't take because like it takes a lot for a woman to for a guy to say, oh, a woman is a man now. You know what I mean? Like, you never hear a guy say, oh, that's not a woman, that's a man. You never hear dudes say that, but you'll see guys like say that man is not masculine at all and all this other stuff. I'm teetering into a deeper conversation than I should have been, but the fact is that, like, when it comes to intergender wrestling, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see it like being as terrible as people try to make it seem like it is, and there's so many good intergender wrestling matches out there already, because you have Speedball Mike Bailey versus Janai Kai, which in my opinion is spectacular, and Ruthless Lala just out here taking out dudes' heads whenever and however she can. So it's a lot that goes into professional wrestling that I feel like fans tend to ignore, to kind of sort of make themselves feel like they are more important than the medium that they're a fan of, and their perspectives on things is kind of wonky, and it's like, rather than just sort of be accepting of the fact that the medium is evolving, they rather just say, oh, these things that we don't like that the company is doing is wrong. And it's like, no, it's not wrong, dude. You're just entitled. Just say you don't like the thing. It's okay. It's no problem. If you don't like the thing, that's fine. That just means that it gives you something to avoid while something else is going on. But don't make it seem like the business is doing something wrong just because you don't like something. This is bonkers, bro. That's low tier fan territory. Don't do that. But that's it though, guys. Love and peace. Man, I really want to be wrestling right now. I really do. I'm out.